guys, how's it going? Welcome to this week's recap video. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. We did take that day off from posting, so it'll be next week's recap. That will be one video shorter than normal. But we've got the full lineup this week. It was a busy week. And also, I think the Black Friday sale is still going on for 2 more days. Today, tomorrow, Monday, and Tuesday the 3rd. So if you want to get in on any of that, what is it? 25% off garden answer stuff, augers, merch, kneeling pads, 25% off Greenstock vertical gardens, as well as any accessories associated with that. 15% off most everything else. Felco hand tools. Yeah. Also, the pink kneeling pads are back in stock, and we have a limited run of purple, which I think is really fun. And I'm excited. I don't even have one. I'm excited to get my hands on one. Yeah. Anything else? Greenstock planter colors. There's a lot of different colors available too. I think there's some new colors as well. And the warehouse has received a tremendous amount of orders from you guys, so thank you so much for your support of our online store, and they are working very, very hard to get things packed up and shipped out to you. So I know it's been kind of a hub of activity down there.
Please be patient.
Yeah. Okay, let's jump into the videos from this past week. The first one was the tour of the Heirloom mums and making a fall cut flower arrangement. That was a really fun, I think that was like a Sunday afternoon, and I did not plan on filming that day. And I was out there checking on everything to give things water. And I thought, oh, things are looking good. I need to do this now. And sometimes I get that sense of urgency and I just want to do it. Anyway, so we went through some of those blooms just to take a look at some of the variety. And I'm really impressed with how they're performing based on the fact that they have been in pots and they've been kind of not treated the best. And they, been blown around in the wind. And there's some days that we didn't get to watering until it was late in the day. And they were just like near death looking, and they just have rewarded so beautifully. So we cut a bucket full of those and then a few things out in the garden as well, took them into the Hartley and made an arrangement after we were done looking at all the blooms. That was just a really peaceful day. Christy says, Laura, where did you get your touch tap in the Hartley? I've been looking everywhere for one like that and I can't find it. Can you please link it?
That's just a run of the mill. I mean, they're kind of expensive, but what's the brand? Delta?
I don't know.
I think it's like a Delta faucet.
I think we got it. Did we get it at Home Depot or did we order it?
I think I ordered it.
Did you?
Yeah, because we couldn't find it. We have like a small Home Depot. You know how like different Home Depots have, we've got like the smallest kind of Home Depot that they have.
Yeah.
Or it seems small. So they don't carry, a wide variety of things. And we do have a place in town, I think, that sells stuff like that, plumbing.
Do we? Oh, yeah.
I don't know that I've ever been there.
I don't think
I've lived in this town for 30 some years.
Yeah. They're really off the beaten path, kind of. They're kind of tucked around.
But yeah, I can maybe see if I can find a link, but they are a little expensive and they're a little finicky. It's not something that I really want to say like I stand behind.
Well, I stand behind it enough to where I have that in the kitchen, and I wanted the exact same one because I like the way the water shoots out of it. I've tried other ones. I like that one. And I know that I got a little bit of pushback on the color. Like, why didn't you put a copper looking one?
Yeah. Gold,
whatever, which I think is just kind of I don't know. There's
trendy.
There's one part of me that's like, it's trendy and it's going to look dated here pretty quick. But the faucet I put in there does look dated to some. It's personal preference. And honestly, I do think like a goldish one would be pretty in there. But I couldn't find one at the time. My mom has one.
Of the touch.
Yeah, I like the functionality of the touch. And my mom ended up finding one for their kitchen reno, but they put that up a couple years after we did the Hartley. So I don't know. Maybe I didn't look hard enough.
Wait, she has a touch one that is. Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. But it was a couple years after I looked. I Google searched and tried looking around. I didn't do it extensively because I never do. I don't.
Well, she also had like a legitimate contractor that works with a person.
I don't think she used that.
Really?
That service. She did all the sourcing herself.
Oh, well, how did she find it then?
Well,
you know what? Your mom is a good networker. Like you and I, we go into stores and we don't want to talk to anybody.
Nope. And I also one Google search.
Yeah.
Touchdown faucet. That's my option. Okay. And then I just don't even just move on.
Is that like a millennial thing or just maybe you and I?
No, I think it is a millennial thing because I saw a reel the other day of how people answer like when somebody knocks on your door.
Oh yeah.
And how like boomers and millennials and Gen X.
Boomers just go right to the door, open it up. Hey, how's it going? You know.
And millennials like sink below the couch. Yeah. Like, well, I'm not home. That's so me. That is so me. Yeah. I love having a gate.
Well, I wonder if that stemmed from, like, I remember as a kid, our parents would leave us at home, not when we were super young, but like when we were like around 10
and older,
you know, or so. But we had explicit instructions, do not answer the door.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like our parents would leave. We'd be like, my sister and I'd be like 10 and 12. And the doors would all be locked and they'd be like, and they weren't gone for long, but I remember it was very clear, like you do not open the door for anyone unless it's us. So I wonder if maybe that just like subconsciously gets into your brain and then you're just like, we don't answer the door.
Yeah. I don't know
what
it is.
I'm not allowed to.
Yeah.
I'm 38 years old, not allowed to open the door.
Okay. Carrie said, thank you for all you do. Love, love, love your channel. Thank you. Question, where do you find that gorgeous flower pot for the heirloom mum arrangement? I probably picked that up at TJ Maxx or Marshall's. They are a great source for random vases. Laura said, what a beautiful arrangement. Love all the fall colors. Question, will the mums continue to bloom after cutting or are they one and done? Such pretty and diverse flowers. You want to pick those when they're pretty much at peak bloom because they don't open up very much after you cut the stems. So just kind of keep that in mind. So like the lower ones won't really open up much. You might see a little bit of action, but they won't get huge like the ones on top of the stems. Teresa said, what variety of hawthorn tree is that? I love the way the berries look. I planted that. It feels like so long ago. It's a Russian hawthorn. It grows 15 feet tall by 8 feet wide, so it fits that area perfectly. It's hardy to zone 4, and those hawthorn berries just hang on like through the winter, and they're bright red. I just love them. Now, they did probably on like it was maybe day 10 of that arrangement, the berries got a little bit soft, and a few of them fell on the table, but it wasn't a huge mess, and they didn't like leave any marks or like liquid. So I felt like for a berry, they did pretty good being cut and brought inside. Some don't hold at all, like snowberries, they just fall off the, like the ones we cut out in the wild. The proudberries seem to hang on for a while for me. Sesswood said, can I grow these in a zone 8? I love the idea of having a cut flower source for the late season when all the zinnias and dahlias are done for the season. Yeah, you can grow them in zone 8. I think they're hardy to zone 9. I mean, I think you might see some different, like very subtle differences on different varieties. There might be some that are a little bit more tender and some that are a little bit hardier. I think they start at zone 6. Like they're a little bit tender here. That's why they're in the high tunnel, because I do have one outside, but it just doesn't do amazing, and it's getting smaller by the year. And I just think it's a little bit too harsh in the wintertime for that plant. Danielle said, wow, beautiful mums. I had no idea there are so many varieties. There's so many varieties, so many more than I have. It's going to be kind of a fun collection to add on to, I think. Question, do you have to fertilize those weekly to get those blooms in a 1-gallon pot? We didn't. I mean, I should double check with Bethany. She was doing a lot of the fertilizing this summer. She may have fertilized them more often than I thought. I bet you she did. You think? Probably. So I would err on yes. Fertilize regularly. Bethany's good like that. Yeah.
Like, no, we never fertilize.
We never fertilize just because I didn't do it. Yeah. Christy said, hi, Laura, would you explain the difference between mums and chrysanthemums? I mean, you use the name interchangeably. We just say mums because it's shorter. But I think it's a very large family, and I'm not an expert in the mum field. But, you know, there's like florist mums that are not hardy, have little blooms like you see at grocery stores in the fall. There's also hardy mums that can look quite similar to the florist mums. That you can grow in the ground, and those might be hardy to zone 5, maybe even lower than that. I don't know. And those also have the small flowers. And then you've got your spider mums and your heirloom mums. Heritage mums is another word you might hear them called by, or like football mums, but they're the great big flowers. And there's lots of different bloom variations. It's kind of like dahlias to me. You know, you've got the dinner plates and the water lily and the anemone type. You've got all kinds of different ones, and it feels the same with mums a little bit, except for mums are easier to manage, and they last way longer in a vase. I'm a huge fan. Billy Joe Bob said, if you trim the side buds, would you have larger individual blooms? Maybe. I don't know. I think the blooms are huge.
Make them bigger.
Nah. I wouldn't hurt, because like if you're not going to count on them being an open bloom on the stem, it's less energy that the plant is putting into those blooms, and that it might help. I don't know. That'd be an experiment. Amy said, have you ever grown large carnations like the florist variety? I did last year, and the thrips loved those plants. Loved them a lot. There's a lot of petals and a lot of little places for the thrips to get. So I didn't use a tremendous amount of them for cutting. I mean, they were pretty out in the garden, and I just let them be. But yeah, I started them from seed. They were easy to start from seed. They were easy to grow outside. And they were pretty. I know that I can't remember, some other flower farmer that has this channel said that they wouldn't grow them again.
Oh.
For whatever reason. Like the pictures made them seem like bigger flowers than they actually are, which maybe I could concur with that a little bit. I don't know. I think they're pretty and they smell good. Dirty Dog Creek said, I read that mums should be planted with vegetables to deter insects. Is that true? Does the variety matter? I've never heard that of mums. I've heard that of marigolds. Do mums do that too? You guys will have to let me know. Next video was the first snow garden tour. So we had snow.
and we don't anymore.
No, we don't. It didn't last too long. We had snow for the next couple of days in little spots, but that first day, it actually lasted the whole day. We were expecting it to start raining about midday and get rid of all the snow, but it didn't. It just snowed again. The kids loved it. I loved it. I love it when it's short-lived like that. It can come, it's beautiful, and then it goes away, and I could still plant. Like today, I could go out there and plant a tree if I wanted to. Yeah. I love that. But we always feel like with the first snowfall, especially if it's like one that's sticking to branches of trees and things, it's like we got to get out there and show the snow and do a tour. It's like an obligatory first snow of the year tour.
Well, it's just so exciting because you get to see what, evergreens look like. That, especially, since we've had a bunch of big ones, installed, that, like, I don't know, it's kind of what you want. You want to see what it looks like with a dusting of snow on it.
Exactly. Yeah, and it also highlights areas that you can be thinking about through the winter, what you want to plant to make it better in the winter months. Sabrina said, what do you spray your fruit trees with? A horticultural oil and copper. You could look up Garden Answer spraying fruit trees, and it'll show you exactly what I use and exactly what measurements as well. Gay Wilson said, do you put all your hoses away? I noticed them when you were doing your winter tour. Most of them have been put away at this point. Yes, we do. Because we don't have any, let's see, what's our lowest temp, Aaron? Do you remember?
20s.
23, we've seen 23 already. And it warms up enough in the day pretty quick that if we need to use a hose, it's usually thawed by the time we need to use it. But we will take in everything else here pretty soon. I think there's like 7 left out right now.
I don't think it's the cold that matters. It's if there's water in it.
Sure.
So if you just blow it out, if you blow the water out of it, you can leave it out, I think, all winter. Mm-hmm. You just want to make sure that all the water is blown out of it. So you'll need to hook up a compressor to it and blow it out.
So usually we keep a couple of like a hose link in the greenhouse where it's heated so it stays thawed. We've even kept a hose link in a garden cart sitting here in the studio where it can stay thawed so that if we need to go water anything, we just grab that hose. It's always thawed. We don't have to blow it out or anything. And the water's just, if there's water in it, it's just pooling in the garden cart. And then we can take it out and water and then bring it back in here when we're done through the winter. We'll have to do that for high tunnel watering. Yeah. There's a frost-free out there, but we can't keep the frost-free out unless we take the air compressor out and blow it out. What a pain. Yeah. Yeah. Renee said, is there anything you can put on your concrete statues that will help them last longer if you leave them out for winter? I wonder if you did some kind of like a sealer of some kind, if you sprayed them.
I don't think so.
I mean, you could try. Like do a matte sealer. You can even get it in like a spray can. Sure. I mean, that would add an extra layer of protection. I don't know. I've never done that before, but... Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Pat said, did you have a snowball fight while you were out walking around? The kids and I did a little bit. And then I had to tell them to quit throwing it at my face. Yes. And I went inside and Benjamin was throwing them at the kitchen door. And, they were having a big time out there. I had been out in the snow a lot. Like that morning I was up early and I went out probably at like between 5 and 5:30. I was out walking around. And then Benjamin, he knew that snow was supposed to be coming, and he made me promise that I would wake him up if it was snowing. So I went and woke him up just at 6 o'clock, and he was so excited. He raced downstairs, got his snow clothes on, and he and I just walked around in the garden together at 6 o'clock in the morning. We let Samantha's in here with us. We let her sleep. She is better. She gets her full 12 hours. So anyway, I let her sleep. There's still plenty of snow for her to play when she got up. Jeannie said, are you not going to cut back the catalpa this year? Did I misunderstand? My husband and I are going to get 2 next spring. I'm so excited to finally smell what you're talking about. Oh, you're in for such a treat. Your gate looks even more beautiful in the snow. I agree with that. Are we not going to cut back our catalpa? Well, the goal is to not have to cut them back, but up here in a northern climate where it's a little bit more harsh, we may have to treat them more like we do a butterfly bush. A lot of times we have to cut those all the way back. Our catalpas last year died all the way to the ground, and they looked dead for most of the spring until it was almost like late spring, early summer. All of a sudden, these leaves just appeared from the bottom of the plant, and they grew super tall in one season. So we'll see what happens. We'll do the same thing. We'll leave the sticks up. If those sticks happen to survive this winter and bud out in the spring, we'll just let them go. If not, we'll just cut them all the way back at that time. We'll just wait for new growth, and that will be our guiding.
It seemed really late, like, hibiscus.
Yeah.
The growth happens so late in the spring that you're kind of like, it died. But you don't want to mess with it.
No.
Because it's like, well, you need to wait till summer to know if it actually died or not.
And once it starts growing, it grows so much faster than anything else in your garden. It will catch up and go beyond what everything else in your garden is doing. That's how I felt about the chalpa too.
Yeah.
It was like, boom, I'm awake, and just like took off.
Yeah.
Pam Camp said, will you show a night show with the lights? We just did this morning. We just posted that video. And I know that you were kind of like, about the drone tour, because you were comparing it to 2 years ago when we did not own the back piece of property. And like our lights are maybe more lights than ever, but they're spread out way further.
Right.
I think it's still
it still was impressive. But yeah, since we've gotten more land and, more things to put lights on, I've got ideas for next year. Also,
that 2 years ago, I think Paul and Bethany threw lights on anything that was standing still. Yeah. And I was kind of like, oh, this is too much. It was too much for me. Like grasses were wrapped and kind of like leaning. And I wanted it to be I liked it a little bit more spread out.
Yeah.
The most impressive view, you guys, is when and I don't think it'll translate on camera, but if you drive out in the dirt lands, like the loop that we just put in out there, and look at the whole property, you can see pretty much everything from the dirt lands. And it's really
because it's kind of panoramic. Yeah. You can see all because we have a really, like, our property is very deep, but not necessarily all that wide. At least in some
wide spots.
We have such a weird shape of property.
Yeah.
If you look at it, it's just, it's bizarre.
It is. Yeah. Sue said, just curious as to why you have mature trees staked. Is it because of wind? The mature trees that we have staked are the brand new ones we had installed this year. So we leave the stakes on for 1 full year, right? A full year, and then we take them off.
Yeah, a year or two.
Depending. Yeah, because that's so top heavy. When you look at the size of the root ball is big, but you look at the size of the tree. If a big evergreen with all that leaf canopy or needle canopy, whatever, catches a good stiff breeze, it could topple really easily. So they need to be staked until they're really well rooted. Crazy Cat Lady said, so beautiful. I love the tour. Do the kids get out and play in the snow? Yes, they were out quite a lot of the day. And then it was kind of a happy look, but at the fire, I had a fire going, and I had all of their snow clothes like hanging off the random rocks on our fireplace. So the rocks are good for one thing, I guess. Yeah. Hanging snow clothes to dry. But it was a very kind of cozy look. Bad Angel LOL said, was wondering, are you going to cover your fountain? Nope, I want to look at it for the 5 months out of the year. I don't want it to be covered. Cheryl said, do you have a Charlie Brown Christmas tree? No.
I mean, there's a few.
Like outside?
There's a few trees that you could call Charlie Browns.
I suppose. Well, the one in the front entrance, the great big Norway spruce, is so majestic and gorgeous. But you put Christmas lights on it, and you're like, oh. Yeah. They don't hang right on that tree.
Right.
I don't know if we should light that one again.
Well, we should. I think we just need to drape them.
Yeah, instead of just going around. Yeah. Okay, next video was forcing 2,900 plus tulip and daffodil bulbs in crates, hoping for January blooms. So that was a continuation of another project. We already had the tulips and daffodils in our root cellar. They were the ones we planted fall of 23 in the cut flower garden. We enjoyed their blooms this last spring, and they were gorgeous. We were able to give quite a lot of them to the nursing home down the street. And then once they had died back, I have other plans for that garden space. I planted zinnias and sunflowers and all that business. What else? Cosmos in that area. So I needed to get them out. And I never find myself in a position where I'm actually digging out tulips and daffodils. I mean, digging out dahlias, I guess, which I would rather not do ever again in my life. And probably not tulips and daffodils either. It's such a labor.
It took you so much longer than you thought it was
going
to take.
Well, I thought because we lined those bulbs up on the top of the ground and then just mounded over them with compost, which was an experiment that they succeeded with that method. But I thought I could go out there and just pull them out, But their root system was so incredibly extensive. It was hard. It was hard digging. And Paul and Bethany had to jump in and help too, because I can only dedicate so much time. With the amount of videos we put out, I can't spend a tremendous amount of time on one project. So I think I did like 2 rows maybe, and I think they did the other 2 rows, something like that. It took us a long time, but we got them all cleaned off. We got them dusted with sulfur, put in the root cellar. That was like late June maybe. And then they've been chilling in there for 19 weeks, which they need between 12 and 16 weeks of temperatures consistently below 50 in order to spur on bud production. So they got plenty of cold. I thought, wouldn't it be awesome if we got them planted up now in the heated greenhouse and had January blooms? Or even February tulip blooms would be awesome.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But that's what we did that day, and it was a day-long project for sure. There's 29 crates of bulbs in there. Laura said, where does she get the crates from? Those are the crates that come from Color Blends, where we order our big bulk bulbs from. We actually have way more crates than what I had available, but they've got stuff in them. Like we use the heck out of those crates. So Paul ended up scrounging up 2 more for me. He emptied out 2 and put the stuff that was in them somewhere else so that I'd have enough.
Those crates are super handy.
Yeah, they're heavy duty. They're just amazing. Conscious Pilot said, question, does the size of the bulb determine if it will produce a bloom or not? Usually the larger the bulb, the more energy that bulb has stored, the older the bulb is, and the more likely you're going to get really good. What are you doing over there?
I just got a gnat.
A gnat? There's a gnat in here?
Well, there's just one. But it's dead now, so.
Well, good. I'm going to need to put out my sticky traps. I started 3 things of seeds this week, and I put BT thick on the top of the soil.
Did you?
Or the natural, which is BT, to take care of larvae. But if we see adults, I have to start in with these, which maybe it's not a bad idea if I do that. Okay, I'm not sure where we were at, but the next question is from Megan. Loved this video, makes me so excited for spring. 2 things. Did you build your tables in the greenhouse or purchase them? If you built them, is there a video on that project? Yes, we built them, and yes, there is a video. 2, video request for more winter sowing of perennials. I'm a new homeowner trying to beautify my sad yard on a budget. So trying to start lots of great plants from seed. Love your videos. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, we can do some more winter sowing. I was thinking about that the other day, and I was thinking, I don't know if I'm going to do winter sowing this year because I always neglect. Like I always get the seeds come up great, and then I've got so many trays in the greenhouse of stuff I need to get out that I kind of, like I still have some plants. 2. I have 2 water jugs in the greenhouse still with plants that I never did anything with.
Really?
This last year. Yeah.
What are they doing in the...
Just chilling.
They're still alive?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, they're still alive. So there's that. Kim said, from what I've read before, if you force bulbs to bloom early like this, they are likely to not repeat bloom if you save them to plant again. Is that your understanding too? No, as long as, I mean, if you are... letting the bulb bloom and then you just cut everything off the top of the bulb and, go plant the bulb, it doesn't have enough energy to bloom the next year. What it will do is it will send up leaves the next year and then try to gather up enough energy in order to bloom the following year. But after your bulbs are done blooming, like in the greenhouse situation, I can cut the bloom stalks off. As long as those leaves stay and absorb enough sunshine, they will feed the bulb and enough to where you can get them out in the landscape and they should bloom the next year for you. Lori said, how much soil did you end up using? Will they get enough sun? Wouldn't the plants on top of the tables cast shade on the crates on the ground? Nope, they should get plenty of light in the greenhouse. It's a pretty bright space, and those tables, the only solid parts are the boards. So, I mean, they cast a little shade, but not enough to impede the growth of anything. As far as soil, I think we used about 29 bags. They're small bags, 1 cubic foot bags, which are really nice to carry around. I don't know why we got 1 cubic footers instead of 2s, but at some point the switch was made, and I was so thankful for it. Because boy, when you're, especially in projects like that, when you're lifting them up and then into something, 2 cubic foot bags, like I don't know that I could do a few, but after a while I think that it would wear me out.
Sure.
So I think the ones are really nice. But yeah, the whole project was really fun because it was using all things that we just had around for other reasons. Like we had bought the landscape fabric, I don't even know, I can't even remember what project we bought that for, but we had it on hand. The crates were sent with the bulbs, so we didn't actually pay for the crates unless that cost is worked into the price of the bulbs, which I'm sure it is. And then the bulbs themselves we used in another project. It's like reusing stuff that we had already had around. So the soil was the only like new supply that we had to use on that project, which is really kind of fun. And I just hope it's successful. NC Flower Girl said, are the bulbs done once you cut them? Would you stagger in growth if you put some in the mum high tunnel? Yes, we would stagger in growth for sure. The high tunnel will keep things like 10, 15 degrees warmer than outside. Mm-hmm. So you might get a little bit of a jump start, but this one stays like 50 to 65 and then it gets warmer. If it's sunny out, It can get like 90 degrees in there in the middle of the winter. So that one's got such a wide range, it's really hard to control. So a lot of times I'll start seeds in here under grow lights because the temperature is constant in the studio. And out there, it just so widely ranges. And some seeds are particular about their germination temperature. Bunch of pains, those plants. MT Airy Herbs said, what temperature do you keep your greenhouse for forcing? I would say, like, right now, what is the temperature outside? It's 35 outside right now, so it's probably staying 50, 55, 60-ish, right in that range. It does is the heater will kick on every once in a while. It heats it up to 60, and then it lets it get all the way down to 50, and then it heats it back up to 60, kind of a deal. Which some days it doesn't have to kick on very much, or at all.
Yeah, during the day.
Lisa Street said, so many lemons. How do you know when to harvest them? When they're really getting quite, like, more squishy. In fact, Bethany texted me on her way out, and she's like, hey, I'm going to grab some lemons off the tree. And I asked her, I'm like, are they ripe? I haven't checked them in a few days. And she said, yeah, they're pretty squishy. In fact, she took some that were about ready to fall off the tree. So I need to get with it and do some things with those lemons. Sherry said, please film, provide facts and tips to growing a lemon tree. Is it a mire? Did bees, insects pollinate it? I can't remember what type of lemon it is. And yeah, I'm sure bees and insects did pollinate it. We have insects in there even through the winter. I got stung by a wasp last winter. I sat down on a bar stool. I was going to go over like Snapdragon stuff with you guys. And I just, like, I think the nest was right underneath the bar stool, and it just crawled right up and bit me right in the bum. It hurts so bad. Ah! And then I had to carry on. And that whole time I'm like, oh, owie. Anyway, yeah, there's bugs in there all winter. Heather said, that lemon tree is amazing. Did you fertilize it since it's fruiting? Will it go dormant now that we're headed into winter? Usually winter is its time to shine. Like right now and around Christmas time is when we tend to get our fruit crop. I don't know if that's different than normal. It's just like how it works here in a colder climate. Now, those lemons have been sitting in the same exact spot for like 2 years. And 2 of them are in like black plastic containers, and I want to repot them so bad in something pretty, but I don't want to mess them up because they are so happy and so productive right there. It's kind of like, leave it alone. Next video was baking for the garden center open house and a Christmas tree tour with my mom, and then we went to the garden center and helped put out a load of poinsettias and Christmas cactus. And there were a few other fun plants in that. So it was just a really full day. It was a really fun day. Barbara said, can you share where you got that lighted crown topper? I think my mom got it in down at the garden center. I don't know if they still have any. You can call down there or email them, andrewseed@gmail.com, and ask. Sophia said, how do you keep up with watering so many houseplants in the shop? Also, how do you keep the humidity up? I think the humidity naturally stays up higher when you've got a lot of activity. Like in this room, when I'm in full tilt seed starting, it is like kind of uncomfortably humid in here.
We have to dehumidify.
We do. We have a dehumidifier. It actually runs in the root cellar right now, and it pulls moisture from the air, and the water collects in a little tray that you have to dump like several times a day. And the windows like all fog up like condensation. So I think the humidity level just naturally stays a bit higher. And down there where there's so many houseplants, they've got a specific person every day assigned to who takes care of them. They've got things on kind of a rotation. When I was there, that was my responsibility. I don't know how it became mine, but like eventually I just took on all the houseplant ordering, and I did all the placing and pretty much all the care. I was only gone 2 days a week, but I didn't have 2 days off back to back. Going back, I would be like, I will have 2 days off in a row. But I was young, and I don't know. At that point, I guess
Put in your time.
Yeah. I think I had Sundays and Tuesdays off. So it was enough to where I could water things on Saturday, check things on Monday, and nobody else had to touch them at that point in time. But I think that's what burned me out on houseplants. Like, I like houseplants. I like the way they look in moderation in a home setting. But like, I hate watering my houseplants in the house. I just hate it. I do not enjoy that part. I like to have them though. So I just need to suck it up and keep things watered. And I've done a fairly decent job as of late, like maybe last winter.
Yeah.
I've done a pretty good job. So I'll go in phases on that. Kayama said, the gold ornaments are just lovely. Do they have a name or mark on them? I love that style of ornament, and the only thing I've been able to find that seems similar is Danbury Mint, which that is the most similar thing I can find as well. They don't have any marking on them. My mom cannot remember what brand they were. I don't think she was just like thinking about that. But my sister actually bought me for one Christmas, like a few Christmases ago, bought me a full year set of Danbury mint, and they're beautiful, and I love them on our tree. I think that's probably the most similar thing. Scribney said, what a fun day. Do you have any favorite treats that you guys make every year for your own families? We do lots of treats. I don't know of anything like very... I still do sugar. We do vanilla. They're called vanilla rolled cookies or sugar cookie that we've been making same recipe since I was a little kid. We do those sugar cookies, and I do them with our kids, and we do the powdered sugar and food coloring frosting for those. But we don't do like treat plates or anything like that. I'm trying to think.
Yeah.
I think we just, through all the different events that we're at, or like the open house and then the wreath seminars that are cooked for as well. Which one of them's coming up this weekend, and I think I'm going to go and film. I'm going to go make a couple wreaths for our gate.
Nice. Big ones?
Yeah, big ones. As big as I can find. In fact, I don't even know if they have wreath forms big enough. I might need to go and see if I can locate something the right
Make
scale.
one out of PVC pipe.
I would think they need to be I would think they need to be about this big, right? I don't know how wide that is.
You might want to go out to the gate and
kind of hold something up.
Like get a measuring tape.
Yeah. I'm going to need big old wide ribbon. I might have to use fabric. Anyway, I'm excited for that project. But I think with all those different events, you get so many different treats that I don't really think about doing it at home so much.
Are you going to make wreaths for both sides of the gate?
Yeah. Oh, no. I'm not making 4. You want to come make a couple wreaths? I'll teach you how.
No,
You've seen plenty of tutorials.
I thought about that, though, about the columns. Like, do we want lights on both sides of the gate?
Oh.
Was that weird?
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe we can have some uplights on the backside. Sure. Or uplights on the trees.
One day when we...
can find somebody who will do it here. I know. If we uplit those maples with the lights in front of the columns, I think that would be a perfect balance.
Sure.
Don't you think?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all... some stuff that I've never done before. So we just have to kind of feel our way through that. Yeah. I already ordered lights that go on top of pillars. I've never liked that look because the pillars, and I don't know why I did it. Maybe I thought that the pillars were going to be smaller than they ended up being. Because we're doing some pretty substantial sized pillars. But I hate the big pillars with the little lights on top. They look so malproportioned and it just bothers me. Anyway, so now I've lost my return window. So now I need to go buy some posts that I can get post mounts for those same lights, and I think we can use them. I need to buy different ones that come out the front at this point. Oh, you know what? A couple of traditions, though, I was just thinking about. Both of our families used to go we still do go Christmas lighting, where you all pile in the car. And we had gas stations here, Jackson's, that would sell you a mug. Oh, and then you get 5-cent hot chocolate or 10-cent hot chocolate refills. So we'd get our mugs, and we had little ones, and my parents had a little bit bigger ones, and we'd head to the gas station. We'd all fill up with hot chocolate for super cheap, and then we'd drive around listening to Christmas carols and Christmas lighting. And you guys always, somebody would always gift your family a big tin of popcorn. Yeah. And you guys I remember going on the very first Christmas lighting trip with your family, and they bust out the big popcorn tin and pass it around the car, and you eat popcorn and look at lights. Those are fun memories. Yeah. Kids and I went Christmas lighting last night. You were getting footage of the Christmas lights outside, and we were feeling a little antsy. Benjamin had written a letter to one of his aunts and wanted to get it in the post box. So we ran down to the post office, and then the kids wanted to run around and look at lights. And we did for quite a long time. It was fun. Gardening Newbie said, how many poinsettias did you go home with, Laura? 0. Poinsettias are beautiful. They're such a pain to keep nice. I will probably end up with some, but usually on those, I wait until December. I do not do any pre-Thanksgiving. It's like the snowflakes. I only eat January snowflakes. I will only do December poinsettias. Lori said, I would love to have some of these recipes. Are they family secrets or shareable? Shareable. I shared the recipe cards with you guys in the video. I do not like when people gatekeep stuff like that. What's the point? They're wonderful recipes, though. You guys should all try them. I hovered over them long enough to where I think you could pause and take down what is on that recipe card. Russell said, I didn't see the birds at the nursery. Are they still there? Yep, they're still doing their thing in the bird cage back there. They're always so loud. They're loudest when we do an after hours tour. It's like they know that they're getting, they have people around them at a time when they normally don't. Nella's mommy said, your mom's home is absolutely beautiful and just seems so homey. I have a question. Is there a story why your mom's into presidents? Just curious. I think she just likes it.
Yeah.
She loves to collect. She loves collections of things. She loves hedges and she loves collections. And if it's can come out in something like that, like in a Christmas tree, because not all collections do you want to display 24/7 or 365 days a year, because they take up space and all that stuff. So if there's like a little small special collection that you can bring out and enjoy for, a month out of the year, that's kind of a neat deal.
I think it's cooler than like roosters or,
Cows.
Cows. Yeah.
Coke products. I'm just thinking of all the kitchens that used to be when I was little.
Yeah.
Those geese.
The Coke kitchens.
Yeah. Did you ever see like the geese? There's a lot of geese going on, white geese, when we were little.
I wonder what got her going with presidents, like what it was about, if she just thought they looked cool, or
maybe she found, sometimes like you find one item at an antique store and it sparks something in you and you're like, this is beautiful and I love this look, let's start a collection of this. And so it became black and white images of presidents.
Did she ever collect coins?
No, not like you do.
Yeah.
But she has that thing with busts, all the presidents.
Yeah.
The busts of the presidents. So once the president has died, they make that little bust and then some kind of a coin that goes in front of it.
Yeah, they minted coins for all the presidents, for the dollar coins. And then they couldn't do Jimmy Carter because he didn't die as quickly as I think they thought he was going to.
So she has an empty hole for his stuff, right?
Well, they'll probably never make it.
You don't think so?
Well, because it needed to be made during the year that they were doing like 4 presidents a year, I think.
Oh.
And like he ended up living, I mean, he's still alive, right? Like 90,
I think so.
90 some, or even over 100. But like, I think at the time they were probably thinking like, oh, he'll probably go in his 80s, like most people, or like early 90s.
I think that they would make, if they're still making them for the current presidents, they should, like, because nobody will have a complete collection.
Yeah, right. No one will have a complete collection with Carter. I mean, you could, not the U.S. Mint, but other mints have, it's not currency, but you can get Jimmy Carter coins, just made by other people if you want to like.
That's not legit.
No, it's not legit.
Yeah.
But I think what it is that Congress passed some type of a law saying that you can't mint actual currency of a current president or like of a living president.
Sure.
They have to be deceased. I think that's the case. But I've noticed that the U.S. Mint defines like coins and medals, but I think they can make medals that look like coins, but it's not currency. It doesn't have a dollar amount on it. Whereas all the president coins, they were all $1 coins, and it was legal tender.
Yeah. Megan said, any care tips for getting more blooms for Christmas cactus? Mine have always been lackluster. I think I don't have any at our house because I don't love the plant. But I took care of them for a long, long time at the garden center, and we had some in the back that never were sold. And I found that consistency in light, consistency in water, and consistency in fertilizer, and they always bloomed beautifully. It was once a month fertilizer, and I did it all year. I didn't take off winter months or any certain months when the plant's maybe not actively growing as much. I just made it a habit to do once a month fertilizer on all of our cacti and succulents, and they seemed to respond to that. Okay, the last video from this week was making huge lit spheres in our Christmas light tour. Those spheres turned out so great.
Yeah.
They were not hard to make, but they took some time. So we did our first. Did you put images of what the AI generated looked like, and then what?
I don't think it was AI.
Really?
Yeah. Upon further inspection, I think it was a real image, but I think it's not the same as like if you click into that image, and it takes you to like a DIY tutorial. Those are not the same.
They were like crumpled up looking. It looked like a net light thrown over a random bush out in the garden.
And way smaller too, right?
Yeah.
Like the DIY tutorial teaches you how to do a ball like this size, but the image makes you feel like you're seeing balls that are at least like 3 feet,
right?
In diameter.
Yeah, we did over 6 foot sphere. And it turned out just so beautiful. And each sphere took 8 10-foot pieces of PVC, 4 cross couplers, a little bit of rope, lots of zip ties, lots of zip ties, and lights. Spray paint, to spray paint them if you wanted to get the infrastructure, which I was just telling Aaron last night. I was looking out the window. No, I was talking to my brother on the phone. I said, I'm looking out the window because we were talking about how we made them. And I said, I can only see lights. I don't see any of the frame at all, which was the goal.
Yeah.
To have that frame kind of disappear and have the lights be the show. And that was so much fun. And I think, like right now, they look a little lonely in the lawn. I think having a bunch of them and having them spread out, and we've talked about multiple different other ideas of different shapes and different things we can do. And in that big lawn area, I think that would be a fun.
Yeah, I think you could do presents really easily.
Yeah, big square presents
Square
and
ones.
do wire bows and light those up,
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that it's limitless.
Yeah.
You can really do lots of
It's
things.
also nice. I mean, you'd have to cut all the zip ties, but if you need to store them, you can take it all apart
Yeah,
and store everything down pretty compactly.
you can. But
Take a lot of
what
effort.
pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to, I think, store these down at the warehouse. And if we didn't have the warehouse, I'd probably try to hang them up in the red barn somehow. Probably be all up in our way all year.
Yeah.
But boy, whew. Leah said, how beautiful. You've done such a great job making a magical place for your family. Such an inspiration to us all. Would it be easier if you painted the PVC before making the spheres? Maybe. But I was just looking at it as a one-time paint job or two-time paint job. If I did it when they're laying flat, I'd have to spray one side, flip them over, and I'd probably have runs to the other side, and then I'd have to spray the other side. And so we'd have 2 different spray applications, 2 different wait times for drying. When they're all together, you just spray all of it and then let it dry. Probably do it out in the open. I have a respirator. I don't know why I didn't wear it, but the doors were open on the high tunnel, so I had a lot of airflow, but the more open you can be with that, better. Thankfully, it was not a long job. It didn't take me very long to do it at all. I don't know. I feel like doing it when it's hanging is probably easier because you can get all of it done at once.
Yeah.
Rosa said, can you teach us how to put lights in the trees that doesn't show a connection between each tree or bush? Well, it's just extension cords.
Yeah.
So you do one tree and you put in a new extension cord to run to your next one.
And a splitter.
A splitter, right. Lori said, how were the hanging globes of light constructed? Did you use chicken wire? The big balls of light on your lawn are fantastic. So much work, but so satisfying. I'm seeing green, blue, pink, maybe even red ones in your future. Yes, I am too. And the video shows us how we made them. No chicken wire involved. Thank goodness. Chicken wire is such a pain to work with.
Yeah.
Debbie said, for the sphere, would wrapping it in chicken wire help with fastening the lights? Your property is simply magical. No, I don't think it would help at all. I mean, they'd have
It
something
wouldn't secure them.
No, you'd have to still zip tie them.
The
to
only
something.
thing that I saw was somebody talked about cutting the PVC and having like little channels that that the wire would kind of fit in. But you'd have to
Paul
cut.
mentioned that too, and he was like, "That seems like a lot of work."
It
but
would be a lot of
you
work
could
because you'd
do
have to
it.
cut every single.
And you'd have to.
And they'd
feed.
have to line up perfectly.
Yeah.
And if it spun or
Right.
and you'd lessen the integrity of the PVC pipe as well.
Right.
So I don't know. There's maybe a way that you could fasten them better. I'll have to think about it, but
I think we did a pretty good job.
I think that we did a really good job considering that, like, we just got it done.
Yeah.
There might be a better way or another way to do it, but I don't know.
Do you do nightly tours with the kids in the gator? Do you allow your neighbors to come through? We don't do gator tours very much right now because it's so cold in the evenings, but we do get in the truck.
Yeah.
Drive around the property in the truck. And we do have neighbors come through if they text us first. And then we can let them in. And
Oh, it's so nice with the gate now.
I know. I just love it. None of our neighbors they'd always text first. We never have people randomly, unless it's people we don't know, getting out of their
Yeah.
cars and taking pictures and stuff. But they don't do that. They always text and say, hey, we've got some family over. Do you mind if we walk through? Absolutely not. Come on over,
We like, honestly, I kind of encourage, like, I
Yes,
want people
please.
to do it.
Yeah, but
Like
let
you-
us know.
Yeah.
So that we're not like, who's that?
Right.
Who's that group of people out in our garden? That's unnerving for anyone, I would think,
Yeah.
if you don't know.
I never understood that. And maybe I've even said this before, but like, people that own any amount of property, probably even people who own a small amount of property, it just doesn't happen. If you live in town, it doesn't happen that often. But like, if somebody's walking on your property, even if you live on a small lot in town, it's weird.
Yeah.
It's
You're like,
unnerving.
what are you doing here?
It's like,
Yeah.
why are you, unless you're coming up to my door to knock, but if you're like standing in my yard somewhere, that's weird.
We had a
And-
guy one night, it was like 2:30 in the morning.
Oh, and
Remember?
yeah.
Yeah, 2:30 in the morning. It was snowy out, and I woke up because I think I got an alert from a
Yeah.
camera, and I'm like, "There's a dude standing underneath one of our trees right now, 2:30
Yeah.
in the morning." I think he was just trying to get through because he could probably see signs for like down by the interstate, and it's just our street is a dead end. It's not a through street,
Right.
and so he was probably like, what the heck? But I'm like, what is somebody doing out at 2:30 in the morning on foot in the snow?
Yeah.
Like, probably not a great situation. And we called the cops and all that business, but that's unnerving.
Yeah.
Whew. I don't like that at all.
When you have a larger property, it just expands to where, like, I don't know. Maybe it like happens more often.
The likelihood.
The likelihood of it happening.
Yeah. The lights are kind of an attractive nuisance.
It totally
too.
is an attractive nuisance.
But if you are local and you know how to get a hold of us, just do. If you want to come see the lights, we would love for you to come through and see them. Kelly said, truly a magical winter wonderland. What's your electric bill?
A lot.
Not as bad as if they were incandescents. Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
They're all LEDs except for one Christmas tree in our house. The kids and I just finished decorating our kitchen Christmas tree, which I use old-fashioned incandescent multicolored lights on it. And they're so warm and so like
classic.
They're so classic. I love it. So those are our only incandescents because I just will not. I like the multis outside that are LED. Great, but I don't want that color in my house. I like the warm ones.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's high in the winter, but it's high because we're heating the greenhouse. We're heating the Hartley-ish. The space is heated. And then in the summer, it can get a little high too if it's...
because of air conditioning.
Yeah, but we only AC this. And we've got the root cellar running all the time. It doesn't have to work as hard in the winter.
Yeah.
But we don't air condition the Hartley.
No.
We just have doors open and stuff.
But we can air condition it, which is awesome.
Yeah, we can. We did during the dream stream. Even though it was October, it still got warm during the day. So we had the AC on and we had treats and stuff in there. So I wanted to keep it nice. But yeah, different times of the year, it just can be different things that are making it be what it is, I guess.
It's a lot. It's not like, it's not crazy, but it's a lot.
Yeah. Micah said Samantha and her mismatched shoes. She loves doing that. And that pair right now is currently sitting right next to our kitchen sink because I had to thoroughly wash the mud caked on those shoes after that day. And Mr. Benjamin, he's a sweetheart. He is. He's got a heart of gold.
He does.
That little boy. Oh, awesome project. How much did one sphere cost to make? Oh, we were trying to think about that.
Well, we sell the lights on our store for $23.99, I think.
They're commercial grade LED lights.
They're nicer than what you get at, Walmart. And we use 15 of them. But, the PVC is pretty inexpensive.
Yeah, we'll use them every year. So it's not
all of it's reusable.
It's not
every
like you
year.
lose the money. You're going to be enjoying that thing.
Yeah.
You don't have to use commercial grade lights either.
Well, no, you don't. But I think that it's more expensive. It was definitely more expensive for me to go to Home Depot or Walmart to buy lights as often as I was having to buy them.
Sure.
Because of them not working from year to year. I mean, the ones that we have now, they just work for us every year. And I like that.
Yeah.
Buy them once, and they'll just keep working.
Novella said, I always look forward to seeing the whole family together. Question, are there any projects you and Aaron won't do together? Yeah.
Measuring projects?
Anything requiring precision.
Yeah.
We come at it from completely different angles, and it can get contentious.
Yes.
So we avoid things like that.
Yeah.
We don't do a lot of that together. If something involves measuring, usually Aaron and Paul will go out. And I ask Aaron, can you and Paul go out and do that? And then I'll come out and look at it, and we'll see if we need to make any adjustments from there. But it's just best. We just know that weakness. And we're both very strong in our opinions, too. And, that's probably the one area we kind of butt heads in.
Yeah, I think what it is, though, is that, I oftentimes have strong opinions, but I feel like I'm pretty flexible in, if you want to do it a different way, I don't care if you want to do it a different way, but I can't come to your side.
Yeah, he won't help me. If it's not the approach that you want, you will not help me try to.
I have a really hard time with that.
So sometimes we'll start a project, and I'll be like, okay, Aaron, I would love your help with this project, but I need you to do it my way. And if you can't, then excuse yourself of the project. But I have a certain a rhythm for this project in a certain way that I would love to approach it. So if we have that conversation in the beginning, I feel like you're fine. You come in it just knowing that you're going to be a hand to me.
Most of the time it doesn't usually work out. I can't really think of a time where it really has worked out, where I've stayed involved in a project where we were doing it your way. I'm happy to help you as long as I'm basically just the gopher. If you need me to hand you something.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And usually if I ask for your help in that capacity, that's all I need your help for.
But don't ask my opinion, because I'll give you my opinion and it will not be what you want.
And I know when I don't want his opinion.
With it.
Yeah. And it takes years of communicating with each other and doing projects like that to realize how we operate. And so now I feel like we don't get into any kind of arguments about it anymore. It's rare.
Yeah,
It's pretty
not
rare.
heated like it was.
No.
And even when it was heated, like it was fleeting. Like the arguments you and I have are always fleeting.
We don't bottle. We get it done there.
Yeah, we get it out.
Yeah. We don't talk
Fast
about
and
it
Furious,
later.
and then we're done with it. And then
Yeah.
we're like, oh, we almost always, like, you and I have been mad at each other for over 24 hours, like less than 5 times in our married life.
Yeah, over 18 years.
To where it actually lasted, more than even like 12 hours.
Yeah.
It's really rare.
It is.
Almost every time whenever you and I like are going at each other, like we settle it within an hour.
Yeah. But measuring projects, no go. If I'm building raised beds, Monica or Benjamin helps me. Not you.
I think, what is it though, whenever
Yeah, baby? You got a bug? It is? Okay, moving on. MC Flower Girl said, oh my goodness, gray high tunnel. I was actually pretty careful. I probably didn't look like it. And it's possible there's like a very minor overspray, but most of it, the overspray ended up on the rocks. And you probably noticed I didn't even put a tarp down because I thought, well, you just rake the rocks and you'll never be able to tell there was ever paint on them.
we'll replace the plastic after a couple of years anyway.
Oh, yeah, but even then, like even if there's a tiny bit of gray, I don't really care. I don't think it's enough because I was pretty careful. How long did that take in real time? So putting them together takes about 5 minutes once you kind of work out the details of how to do it. The painting probably took 10-15 minutes per sphere, and then there's dry time. And then the lighting of the sphere, do you think 1.5 to 2 hours per sphere is what it took?
Yeah.
About for 2 people. And Debbie said everything looks amazing in lights. But when you say 15 strands of lights, is that 100 or 300 lights per strand?
100.
100, so 1,500 lights.
Yeah.
Okay, and the last group of questions comes from last week's recap video. First one is from Chiyu. Do you ship internationally to the UK?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe not on everything, but for some things.
Cool.
I think you just have to just try it out.
Sure.
And see if it works.
Lori said, will your neighbor's shop shade your vegetable garden? It might in the very last part of the day, and time will tell because I don't know exactly how tall. I mean, our neighbor sent us all the plans of how tall it is. So there's the vegetable garden, and then they'll row arbs, and then there's a whole lane between that and the back of their fence, and I don't know how close they can build it to the back of their fence, but it'll be probably set away from their fence just a little bit.
They can probably put it
right up next to it.
The property line, it's an easement.
Yeah.
So I guess it's how close to the easement that they could build. But my guess is they can probably butt it up right next to it because that lane is like at least 10 feet.
Yeah.
Probably 12.
Yeah.
But their property line is actually our fence. It's just that there's that easement
right.
that they have to allow access to the pump.
And the thing is too, when the sun's up that high, it will not shade until I don't even know if it will. At all.
If it shades it at all, it could only possibly help because, those plants don't need the entire day worth of sun.
Yeah.
If they get shaded a little bit in the end of the day,
it's not gonna be a big deal.
You know.
Yeah. Lois said, was wondering if a person who lived nearby could pick up an item at your warehouse or Andrew's to save on shipping charges. I don't think we've talked about that specifically.
Sort of in a roundabout way. Somebody asked the question if it was like a conflict of interest that, we sell some things and they sell some of the same things. But, there really aren't any blurred lines because
we have very different audiences.
Yeah.
Kind of. They've got some of you guys are now following them and supporting what they do too, which is amazing. But it's largely their local, serving the local area. Right. And we're kind of here for all of you guys, our audience that, have been coming
we're shipping stuff out and they're selling things. Our primary thing is that we ship things out. Their primary thing is that they serve the local community, right? And so because of that, there's no blurred lines.
But if you are local, go to Andrew's. That's what I would say.
Yeah, because the only problem is that they don't sell everything that we sell, but we don't want it to get weird. And we're not set up for that. We're not set up for people to come to our warehouse to pick things up. And I don't think that we will probably ever do that.
They've got our kneeling pads too. So if you're local and you want a kneeling pad, you can go there to pick one up. I think but if you wanted a DeWalt drill, with a Laura Edition auger, they don't have that.
Right.
So
if you wanted to buy a green stock,
yeah,
you'd have to buy that online. So, Yeah, the answer is no. We're probably not going to allow people to pick things up at the warehouse. One, because we're not set up that way, and two, we don't even really want it to. We just don't want the blurred lines.
Yeah,
like, we ship things. They sell things locally, and
if you're local, go to Andrews.
Yeah.
Yeah, please. Paula said, "What do Paul and Bethany do in the off season?" They stay surprisingly busy. So right now, they are doing a beautiful job. So they have gutted the red barn, like all the stalls that were in there. They took all of those things down. They were all done with pressure treated wood too, which I don't know if that's bad for horses, but I've heard like if horses eat on them, which I did see gnaw spots on the wood. I don't know that that's good for them. Anyway, all of that is gone. And so now it's just like the posts keeping the building up, the beams.
Yeah, beams.
And they have built some big husky shelves that we picked up, I think, from Home Depot. And now they're moving all the pottery in there, getting everything organized, and they've put road mix down and like really compacted it and leveled all the ground. So they're just doing a complete overhaul of that space. And then we are going to go through, and we might bring you along for this. Our loft is just atrocious. We need to go through the loft and have like maybe
the loft in our current white barn.
Yeah. We need to have our trucks like backed up to the barn and have like a giveaway truck and a trash truck and load up stuff in them. Like I know that all of our white window boxes that used to go on the house, that we're giving all of those away. Stuff that we just know we're not going to use again, or we don't want to store forever. If we do window boxes on the house again, I don't want that style. I want something different.
When we painted the house, we changed out all the shutters.
Yeah.
But we kept all the old shutters, and I don't really
why?
know why.
Right.
But like that's probably trash. We might throw it on Facebook Marketplace or something.
The nicer
to see,
ones, if there's some.
just for free, if somebody wants to come pick them up. But stuff like that. They're like a little warped, and things like that.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to do just a big shift so that things fit better upstairs, so everything's working more efficiently. They also, they do like some interior stuff. They'll work on in here in the studio, in the Hartley, in the flower shed, kind of like doing some more deep cleaning sort of things. Last winter, Paul and Bethany took after our master bedroom, and they did a beautiful molding, like wainscoting, but like picture frame. And Paul did most of the construction. He had to put a thin layer of board on the wall to make it smooth. And they did all the molding work. New molding was around the windows and doors. First time he's ever done a project like that. And I think he was sweating bullets for most of it. And I don't know how much he enjoyed it. He might be okay doing a project like that, but I know both of them will come in and paint. There are so many rooms in our house that are still the same colors when we moved in. I just haven't had a chance to focus on them.
Even if he didn't love it, I think just doing a project inside when it's cold out.
They also help at the warehouse when needed. I know Paul's planning on being down there on Black Friday during the beginning of the sale. So yeah, they're just like super versatile, and they'll find stuff to do. Bethany also takes off a lot more time in the winter, and she's got a big family, lots of things going on. So it's kind of a nice rest period for her. It just works out beautifully. Yeah, really. And we try to keep him as busy as possible. I think people are happier. I'm happier when I'm busy, and I know that they are. So we try to keep him busy and feeling like, what they're doing here is needed, because most of the time it is. And that way we don't have to lay anybody off during the wintertime, which we don't want to do. And we cannot risk losing their help. Mia said sheet moss. I don't know why, but I got the biggest crop of fungus gnats. I had to pull them all out. What did I do wrong, or what should I have done? Sheet moss. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there was what brand of sheet moss you got. I've never had that issue with super moss, and never had them bring in fungus gnats. Not to say that it couldn't happen. Is it possible you put in new soil? Or was it a brand new plant you brought home that maybe had some larvae in the soil that you didn't know about? There's so many different factors there. But that is a bummer. Tammy said, I don't do Instagram or TikTok. Am I missing some good garden videos? Oh, I don't really put a lot of effort into Instagram, or none in TikTok, zero. Aaron posts some things, and I don't even know what's posted on her
just like our long form videos.
Instagram is not where we make our income, and so I just you can only focus on so much, and I don't want to spread things too thin. So video content on YouTube is where we put most of our effort. And then Instagram's kind of like a side thing. Like if I feel like posting something, I'll take some days off. And not post anything. I'll post random reels, but I don't put a tremendous amount of effort into Instagram. Yeah. I don't know. I don't like how the Instagram algorithm works anymore either.
Yeah.
So I feel like it doesn't, for people, because I feel like back in the day, I can say that now, right? Because we've been doing this for over 10 years. Back in the day, it was about consistency and like consistency of posting. And I did that. And I feel like I gained, like our audience on Instagram in a more organic way. And I feel like it's not as organic now. I feel like it's all algorithm driven. And I feel like it doesn't reward people who have worked really hard in the beginning to get, their audience up. And I just feel like it's not worth it to put into a platform that does that.
Sure.
But I do like that. I do like our audience. I do. For those of you who do follow us on Instagram, it's a sweet, sweet place. I mean, it's so encouraging. And whenever we post anything, I feel like all of our stuff there is pretty just consistent.
Yeah.
And I like that. I see so many accounts now where the algorithm will grab a random reel from somebody who's like a smaller creator at the moment and will just make it pop off. But then all the rest of them will just be, I don't know.
The rest of their videos are low.
Yeah. It's just kind of, what word were you using?
It's kind of manipulative a little bit on Instagram's part. Yeah, because like they want as many people as possible creating content for their platform because that's how they sell ads against all that content. So that's how they make money. But yeah, it feels like they'll grab small creators and they'll artificially inflate the views on one of their videos. And the reason I feel like it's manipulative is because it feels artificial in a way. Like those views weren't organic. The platform pushed it. And all they're really doing is just getting that smaller creator like excited to create more content.
Which isn't a bad thing.
No, it's not. But then they kind of have like the letdown of like chasing that one viral video that they had.
The chase isn't a fun feeling. I remember that feeling.
When you're not getting it.
In the very beginning, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Were we really ever chasing views though?
I don't know. I feel like I don't feel like we've really ever chased views because I can think of a bunch of things that we could change if we wanted to chase views. Oh, I suppose. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like there's a lot of things we could do to make content that was more palatable for more of a wide audience, for a younger audience or for whatever. Yeah. But it's just not, it doesn't feel authentic. And that feels icky. It does feel icky. So it's like you want to be creative and post content that is like some type of a balance where it's like there's certain things that the algorithm does prefer. So you just have to strike that balance between your own authenticity and what is palatable to people, because like some people, like their authentic self is not what people want to watch. Sure. And that's just the way it is. So like I don't think you can just say like, oh, just be your authentic self. Well, sometimes people don't want to see that. There are certain things that people do and don't want to watch. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, all that said, you could get on Instagram and see if you are missing anything. I usually post once a day. Usually, I want to say like there's just some days where I just feel so much more relaxed about it now. I don't know. I feel like I'm just in such a like chill spot in life. And that's such a good feeling. I don't feel like I'm chasing a dang thing. Yeah. And that's wonderful. I'm just happy with how everything's going and just so thankful for how everything's going. Gail said, I planted my new vertical garden. It was tough. Getting older, can I reuse the soil next year? Thank you for introducing me to gardening. It depends. I mean, if you cleaned it all out, I guess if the soil's still in there. If you cleaned all your plants out and the soil doesn't seem too taxed root-wise, if it still seems fluffy enough that other plants can work their roots around in there, I would say, yeah, you could still use it. I would just definitely add in like biotone starter fertilizer, maybe scratch in some compost like we use Land and Sea compost just to recharge that soil. If it's very taxed with roots and very kind of bound, I would start with new stuff. I was looking at my green stalks in there, and I've got one that's full of herbs that I need to groom. Oh, it is looking horrible. I should probably do that. That'd be great before and after, I think. And then I've got another one that I just planted up with vines and spring blooming flowers, which are kind of blooming. There's some pansies blooming again, and that one needs to be cleaned out. So I think you can almost rake out individual pockets too. So like on our herb garden, some pockets are empty. Whatever I had in there either didn't thrive or whatever. I could probably scrape that soil out of that individual pocket and just pack it full of new soil and plant something different while not disturbing the rest of the plants in that same layer. But yeah, those layers, they can be a little heavy when you're trying, especially the top ones, when you're trying to lift that top one up. That can be a little much, for sure. Last question from Jay Barbs. Can you do a video on propagating a fig tree? My husband's late grandmother, who is close he is close to had a fig tree that I think would be really special if I can get a cutting from it. I have done one. I did it, was it last winter I did it? Winter of 23, maybe? I don't know. Let me look real quick, see if I can find a title for that video, because it exists somewhere. Yeah, 1 year ago. It's called Propagating Fig Cuttings, Planting Butterfly Peas, and a Studio Tidy Up. So that was 1 year ago. And let's see, by 1 year, it means March 10th of 2023 was the day we posted that video. So that will show you, it was an experiment for me because I'd never done it before, but I had 100%, I think 100% success. I think every single one of my cuttings in that video took. They rooted and they were easy and they bore fruit that same year.
Boom.
Boom. I gave most of them away because I don't need any more figs, but it was sure a fun experiment. And you guys, that is it for today's recap video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great start to your December. Is it December 1st? It is. Jeez, it's weird to have Thanksgiving so close to December. I was at the store just, when was that?
Picking up rolls.
Yeah, I was picking up rolls for Thanksgiving, and I saw the advent calendar sitting at the counter, and I thought, oh, I need to come up with some advent calendar thing for the kids because we normally do. I thought I have time. I've got like a week. I didn't realize I need to go back to the store and get another advent calendar so that I've got one, because I just forget that everything's so close right now. Anyway, see you guys in the next video. Bye.